GG!
Okay, good day everyone. So we will be continuing what we have discussed back then, last time. So last time, ang pinag-aralan natin is yung normal stresses and na-introduce na rin naman natin si shear stress. So here, what we will be solving or doing is to solve yung mga problems naman with regards or about sa shear stress. So, matututunan natin, hopefully, by the end of the lesson, kung paano i-navigate yung mga problems na ang pinapahanap ay si shear stress. So, the formula for shear stress or the average shear stress is simply V over A. A is the area being considered. Usually, yan yung cross-section. And the shear is literally the shear na pinag-aralan natin kung paano kunin back then. So, the force that is parallel dun sa area. So, yung shear stress, siya yung stress na parallel dun sa area. Okay? So, para i-solve yan, ang diskarte natin is of course the mechanics part. Hanapin muna natin yung shear. So, kung okay ka na doon, just determine kung anong area yung pinag-aactan or kung saan nakalagay yung shear na yon. Then you'll have the shear stress. Okay? Ganun lang kasimple. So, yun lang yung kailangan mong matandaan dito. Kailangan ko yung area. Okay? Anong area ba ang pinapa-consider sa problem? Then, ano ba yung shear force na nag-act doon? So, kailangan masana yung utak mo na ma-imagine and makita yung mga bagay na yun. So, let's go and solve your first problem. Alamin daw natin, or let's determine the average shear stress dito sa 20 mm diameter pin sa A and doon sa 30 mm diameter pin sa B na sumusuporta sa beam na to. Okay? So, shear stress sa A and shear stress sa B. Meaning, para makuha yung mga shear stress na yon, definitely, need natin yung mga forces na nag-a-act sa dalawang point na to. Okay? And specifically, ang pinapatukoy sa atin is yung shear na na-experience nung mga pin. Okay? Imagine the pin, right? Para siyang nail. So, yung mga pin na nagko-connect dito sa cable and dun sa beam, tapos yung pin na support dun sa cable. Merong connection dun. So, ano yung shear stress na na-experience ng connection? So, based dito sa figure, you will see that at point A, merong ganitong mukha yung connection natin. Okay? So, balikan natin yung discussion last time. I'm not sure if I have discussed it already. Okay, not yet. Okay, wala pa. So, hayaan natin. And then, you have this kind of connection at point B. So, observe nyo yung difference nila. Okay, there's a huge difference here. Sana nakikita yung connection. Right? So, pansinin nyo, merong nakakonect dito, dito, then dito. Okay, observe nyo yung difference ng connection ha. Okay, ito. Sana ma-observe. So, the first step here is determine kung ano yung area. Okay? Ano yung area kung saan pinapakuha yung stress. It's not the required first step, pero pwedeng dun ka magsimula. So, kunin mo muna yung area. So, let's call it area ng pin A or simply area sa A. Kasi pinapahanap yung stress sa A tapos sa B. So, let's go dun sa area sa A. So, when we say shear, the force should be parallel dun sa cross-section. So, dahil pin yan, ano po ang area ng pin? Circular. Okay? And kapag naka-3 dito, nakaganto yan, no? Yan. Okay? So, let's zoom in. Ano? Ito yun, ganito. Yan, ito yung nasa A. Yan. Okay? Maya pa natin papakita yung actual na nangyayari. Nakita mo, ito yung pin. Okay? Nasaan ang cross-section dyan sa figure? Ito. This one. Or ito. Yun. Okay? So, ang diskarte mo or yung pinakauna mong pahanapin, ano yung area yung pinapahanap or pinapa-consider sa problem. So, nakita mo, okay, yun pala yung tinutukoy na area doon ng pin. Okay, pero keyword kasi doon, shear. Bakit naging shear? So, notice that the force here is this one. Ito. Saan po kaya galing tong arrow yung force na yan? Yes, sa beam. Diba? Yung nasa beam. Ito, yung nasa beam. Tapos yung arrow papuntang left, ito naman yung papuntang connection. Na-imagine, kasi nandito yung connection sa likod. So, ito yung una mong hurdle paano ma-understand yung anatomy ng connection ng reaction natin. So, may connection dun sa likod. Doon nakadikit itong dalawang to. Yan. And, syempre, hinihila nila yan or meron silang direct effect dun sa pin. Meaning, itong dalawang arrow na to, na forces, nandun siya papunta sa dalawang magkabilaan, kumbaga dito and doon. And ang tawag natin sa ganitong setup sa mga pins, hindi lang sa pins, sa bolts, ang tawag mo dyan ay double shear. Meaning, sa dalawang side, okay, merong, or kumbaga sa isang pin natin, dalawa yung nagre-resist ng load. So kung mag-drawing tayo ng FBD, you have this pin right here. Okay, ito yung pin. 2D to 2D. Ito yung papuntang beam. Gawin nating naka side view. Side view. Yan. Okay? Ito na yung force na to. Ito na yung galing sa beam. And then, ito naman yung nakikita ang nangyari. Itong dalawa. Kasi dalawa sila. Okay? Meaning, yung isang force galing sa beam, nire-resist nung dalawa. Yun ang importanteng ma-absorb mo dito. Itong isang force is kini-carry ng dalawang reaction. Okay, in total, syempre, isa lang yan. Pero ang point natin, hinahati. Okay? Yung force dito, kung ano man yung value na yun, pinaghahatian ng dalawa. So, sana ma-recognize nyo yan. And ang tawag sa ganyang setup ay double shear. So, ang gist dito, ano nangyayari? Yung force or yung reaction mo, nahati into 2. Okay? Nahati into 2. Yun ang importante dun, ha? So, halimbawa, 20 kN talaga to, pero dahil dalawa yung reaction or yung magdadala sa kanya, magiging 10 na lang. And importante yon sa pagkuha ng stress. Kasi nakabase siya sa force and sa area. So, kung nahati yung force, hindi mahahati yung stress. Okay? So, again, that's how you do it. Pero kung mapapansin nyo, minsan naman ang ginagawa nila, hindi nila binabago si force, ano ginagawa? Yung area, tina-times 2. Same lang yung effect doon, ha? Okay? So, pag double shear, yung stress natin, ganito ang formula. Imbes na V over A lang, ito yung normal. Okay? V over A. Kapag double shear, note ha, double shear, it becomes V over 2A. Ano pong nangyari? Yung shear, pwedeng ganito ang interpretation mo. Yung shear na divide into 2, kasi nga nahati, dalawa na yung nagdadala. Or pwede mo rin sabihin na yung isang force na V, yung nagdadalang area ay yung dalawa. Yung isa dito, isa sa kabila. So, times 2 yung area. Kaya, divide by 2 times the area. Okay? Pwedeng ganun ang maging consideration. But still, kapag double shear, ito yung formula. Okay? Either na double yung area, pwedeng isipin mo ganun, or pwedeng na-divide sa 2 ang force. Same lang po yun. Ang mahalaga, alam natin na, okay, nahati. Okay, may nahati ito. Okay, so I just have to point that out para malinaw na sa inyo later on. So, balik na natin. Tago ka doon sa Gedli. Okay? So, now, let's identify the area. So, yung area na tinutukoy natin is yung area ng pin. with a diameter of, sabi po, 20 yung para kay pin A. So, alam mo na to, di ba? Pi over 4 times 20 squared. And that is around, wait lang ha, 20 squared times 0.25, 100 pi. Okay? 100 pi square mm. Okay? So, 100 pi square mm. Next. Lagyan natin. Area ng B. So, area ng pin sa B, yun nandito. So, that is 30. Pi over 4, 30 squared should be equal to 25 times 30 squared. 225 pi. So, nandito na rin tayo sa area ng B. Let's point out naman kung ano yung connection sa B. So, ito yung actual. So, for now, mag-base muna tayo sa figure galing sa book kasi malinaw yun. Pag drawing ko kasi mamamatay tayo nang wala sa oras. Pangit mag-drawing si sir. So, ito yung nangyari doon. Okay? Na-observe yung nangyari. Ito na. Now, there's a huge difference between these two. Okay? So, kanina, nakita mo naman, yung nagre-resist, dalawa. Doon sa letter A, sa pin A, yun na, dalawa. Dito, obviously, isa lang. Parang ganito lang siya. Merong sa taas, merong isa sa baba. Okay? Di ba? Malaki yung difference. So, this one, we can also call this type of connection or shear as a single shear. Yung kanina, double shear. Ito ay single shear. And if it's a single shear, you can let the formula become as shear over A lang or shear over area. Yung normal, V over A. So, most of the time, ganun naman ang nangyayari talaga. V over A lang. So, okay lang yun. Kapag single shear, wala kang gagawing times 2 or divide 2. Okay? Kapag single shear. So, with that in place, you have the area, you have the area for pin A and pin B. Now, let's go with the shear. Ngayon, ano po kaya yung tinutukoy na shear dito? Okay? So, we are talking about the reaction. Okay? So, imagine mo sa A, dahil pin yan, ano po ang reaction ng pin? Isang pataas, let's say, assume lang yung direction, isang horizontal. Okay? Sa B naman, this is a cable, and hopefully naalala mo. So, in actual, yung cable na yan, meron pa yung ganun. May component. Umaga. Pero, we can get the resultant of that. And actually, isa lang naman talaga yun. And that is tension. Okay? Tension ang dala ni cable. So, isa lang yun. Now, dito sa B, ano po yung shear na tinutukoy dyan? Ito na mismo yun. Okay? That's the shear that we're talking about. So, dito naman sa A, ano po? Sir, dalawa po sila. Ano po ang gagawin natin? Simple lang. Kukunin mo yung resultant. So, let's say ito yung resultant. Di ba naka-component yan? Horizontal and vertical. So, kunin mo ang resultant. Yun na yung shear. Sa A. This is the shear sa B. So, that's how it is determined. Ngayon, nag-make sense ba? Yun ang iisipin mo. Itong nagdadaloy na force sa BC, ito ba yung na-experience nung cable? Okay, sabi tayo ha. Yung dumadaloy na force sa BC, yun ba ang na-experience na cable? Yes, di ba? So, mula dun sa beam, matatransfer papuntang cable. So, syempre, dadaan yun sa pin. So, may experience ni pin yung shear stress. Again, parallel yun ha. Parallel siya sa area. Kasi imagine mo, ito yung area mo. This is the area. Pag ganun yung aktong nung stress. Okay? Ito yung area mo. Let's say, naka 2D. Pag ganun. Ito yung area natin. Pangit kasi mag-drawing. Anyways, that's a shear. Okay? Basta hindi nakatutok sa cross-section. So, makikita nyo naman. Hopefully now, observe nyo yung nangyayari. Okay? Why it's called shear. So, found naman dun sa kabila. Okay, parang ganun din naman. So, paano po na yung reaction is yun na yung gagamitin naming V. So, imagine here, para sa point A, ano ba nangyari? Aray mo, yan. So, ano po ba ang dinadala nitong pin? Okay, pwede mong isipin ganito. Ano yung dinadala ng dalawa sa gilid? Yes, di ba yung reaction din? Galing sa reaction, or let's say, galing sa beam. Sa beam. Galing sa beam, pupunta saan? Dadaan muna sa pin. That's why the pin experiences the shear. Papunta sa pin, then from the pin, papunta sa connection. So, in higher years, it is very important that we check the connection. Okay? So, not just the actual material, yung chine-check natin. We need to assure that these connections will not fail under the given load. So, chine-check natin yan sa shear, sa bearing. Okay, if you haven't heard the bearing yet, the bearing, the normal stress. Okay, yun lang naman usually sa ano. Marami pa yan, pero later on yun na aralin. But for now, hopefully nasusundan kung bakit yun ang method natin. Okay? So, pag nahanap mo na yung V na yan, wala na, finish na. Okay? So, ibig sabihin pala, ang goal natin, para makuha si V, you have to find the reaction. So, as such, let's draw the free body diagram. Okay, draw tayo ng diagram. You have the beam. Okay? And then, nandun si 30, nag-act 2 meters from A. Let's do that. So, 2 meters from A to 30, acting 2 meters from A. Dito si A. Dito si B. Alright? We have the reaction at A, which is a vertical and a horizontal reaction. Let's call those AX and AY. Okay? Then, we also have the force. Okay? At BC. Pag ganun. Let's call it like this. Sige, force sa BC. And it has an angle of 435. Ang bait sa example, no? 435 ang ginagawa. So, the distance from B to A is 4. Now, guys, wala na to. So, pag nakuha mo si FBC, meron ka ng, yes, you already have the shear sa B. Okay? And after that, pwede mo nang kunin yung shear sa A. So, anyways, I believe we will be having a negative value for AX here. Kasi si BC ay tension. So, ang component horizontally niyan, papuntang right. Then, AC should be papuntang left. Correct na natin, ha? So, sana wag kayong magalit sa akin. Kinorek ko na, para hindi na magbubura mamaya. So, let's do summation ng moment sa A. So, at this point, hopefully, automatic na sa inyo yon. If not, it's okay. So, kapag nag-moment tayo sa A, isa na lang yung di ba? Si force PC na lang. So, masasolve agad natin. Tama? So, let's do about A, yung mga counter clockwise should be equal to clockwise rotations. So, you have the force BC. Now, incline to. So, may component yan, horizontal and vertically. Let's get the vertical resultant. Kasi yung horizontal niya, yung line of action nasa A. So, wala yon. Let's do the vertical one. 4/5 with a distance of 6. Divide or equal natin kasi wala naman ng iba pang counter. So, si clockwise naman is yung 30 times 2. Diba? Alright. Then, wala na. FBC should be equal to 30 times 2 divided by 6. Okay. Times 5 divide 4. So, 12.5 kilo Newton. So, we have the force sa BC. So, next step, pwede mo nang kunin yung AX, right? So, by doing summation forces horizontal, So, yes. You have EX going to the left, equivalent to the horizontal component of the force BC. Yeah, bakit puro English pala, no? So, sige, force BC, that is 3/5. Alright? Wala na, di ba? May FBC ka na, di ba? 12.5. May EX ka na. So, 12.5 times 3/5, 7.5 kilonewton. And lastly, summation ng forces sa Y, pataas, bababa. Okay? You have AY plus the vertical component of BC. Again, pataas, pataas, pababa yung 30. So, vertical component ng FBC is 4/5. Then, equivalent siya kay 30 kilonewton. So, AY is equal to, so 30 minus 12.5. 12.5 times 4/5. 20 si AY. So, 20 kilonewton. Now, sa force BC, ito na rin yung shear sa B. Okay? So, as we have explained earlier. Para naman kay A, so, ganito kasi ang mangyayari doon. Kapag ang ginamit mo lang ay yung AX, ibig sabihin, ang kino-consider mo lang na force dyan is yung horizontal. But again, hindi lang naman horizontal ang dala nitong pin. Kasi nga pin, di ba? Yung pin po, horizontal and vertical yung kaya niyang i-resist. So, it would be wrong kung horizontal lang yung isasama mong force. It's as if sinasabi mo na horizontal lang yung dinadala nung pin. Where in fact, ang dala talaga ng pin is the vertical and horizontal. So, you have to find the resultant of those two forces. That's why, kinuha natin parehas. And at the same time, you'll have the reaction at A, which is the shear at A, equivalent to resultant, di ba? AX squared plus AY squared. Diretso na to, ha? So, shear at A is equivalent to square root ng 7.5 squared plus 20 squared. So, 21.36 kilonewton. You have the shear at A. Wala na to. Wala na, no? So, diretso na tayo. Shear at A, recall natin na siya ay naka-double shear. Right? So, ibig sabihin, the formula is V/2A. Sana wag magtaka. The shear is 21.36 kilonewton. The area is, we have solved it, actually. 100 pi. 100 pi. And, so 21.36 over 2 times 100 pi mm square. So, 0.033995. Ito ay naka-GPA. Now, sobrang liit ng lumalabas, naka-decimal pa. 0.0. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya pinaka-accurate way to measure this one. Then, let's multiply it to 10 raised to 3 para maging megapascal. Okay? Sa exam naman, sasabihin ko kung anong unit ang gagamitin. So, 34 megapascal. So, this is your final answer. Okay? Last part. The shear at B. So, this one, hindi siya double shear. Okay? Refer to the figure. And the force is 12.5 kilonewton. The area is 225 pi. 225 pi. mm square. Ganun. So, 12.5 over 225 pi. So, 0.017. Make sure lang, baka mali pala ako ng ano. Pin at P. Okay, 30 mm ang pin at P. So, 0.01768. Then, GPA, times natin ulit sa 1,000 para naka-megapascal. 17.68 megapascals. Okay? Tayo dyan. And so that is your final answer. Ayan. So next problem is this one. Actually, marami pa tayong problem. Sige, we'll try to continue, tapusin. So this is your next problem. Now, let's go and solve for this second problem. So sabi, the given says that we have this figure, a wood joint. Yung lapad, perpendicular sa paper, meaning, ito kasi naka-side view, di ba? Ang ibig sabihin lang nung 150 mm is the isometric view, kumbaga. Okay? So, hopefully, na-visualize yung ibig sabihin. So, this is your 150. Ito. Itong part na to. Yan. So, kung titingnan natin ang cross-section, so, merong width. Okay? Merong lapad na 150 mm dyan. So, hindi makikita sa drawing, obviously. So, determine daw ang shear stress saan? Sa plane AA. Nasaan yun? Ito. Okay, this one. And at plane B, should be here. Yeah. So, yun lang naman. By the shear stress and at section AA and shear stress at section B, this should be. So, the formula for shear stress is a shear force over area. Now, again, like what we did earlier, pwede muna nating kunin yung area. Okay? So that later, kunin mo na lang yung force. Let's go dun sa AA. So, area ng A-A. Nasaan siya? Ito. Okay? So, if we are talking about the area at AA, wag ka na mag-overthink kung saan nag-cut yung section, yung area na nun, yung kukunin mo. So, nandito. Okay? Literally, sa part na yan. So, if we just take a look at that point, so nakat mo na, di ba? Magkakaroon ka ng area na to. Ito, ay, hindi naman straight. Let's call it ito. Yan, syempre, isometric yan. Okay? Now, imagine, itong length na to, from this point hanggang sa kabila, yan ay 0.1 meter, right? So, you can put that down. 0.1 meter. Ito rin. Okay? And dito na papasok yung 150. Di ba width siya? Lapad. So, ito yun. 150 mm. Okay? So, note na magkaiba ng unit to. So, yung 0.1 meter, this is the same as 100 mm. Okay? They are equal. Okay? 100 mm or 0.1 meter is the same. The 150 mm right here. So, ito yung area nung AA. Dahil rectangular yan, basically, we can just multiply the two. 100 times 150 square mm, syempre, mm times mm. And that will yield, or kahit hayaan mong nakaganyan. Actually, it's okay. Diyan na lang, hayaan na natin. Let's go naman sa area B, dash B. Nasaan po yun? Ito. So, literally, dito ako magkakat. You know, yan. No, walang, huwag kayo mag-overthink. Kung saan ang pinapakat sa figure, doon kayo mag-cut. Okay? Kung nasaan yung point na yon, mag-cut ka doon. Now, just imagine ano yung ma-expose na area. Right? Nag-cut ka doon. So, again, para matulungan ka mag-visualize na may ganun yun, may lapad na, may pag ganun. Okay, may lapad, kumbaga. So, we will have this area. Ito na yun. Yan. So, ano yung length? Ito na yun. From this point, hanggang doon sa kabila, that's 125 mm. Okay, we converted it from mm to meters. Okay. From meters to mm, rather. 125 mm. And yung 150 mm, ito pa rin yan. So, constant naman kasi si 150. All throughout, kumbaga, yan yung lapad. Yan yung lapad ng kahoy, pero hindi naman kailangan yung sa kahoy. Okay? Dito sa BB. Sa kahoy na to, kumbaga. Both of them are wood, actually. So, dun sa AA, 150 ang width. Dito sa BB, 150 din ang width. Now, may area ka na, di ba? Kasi yung sa BB, that's 125 by 150. So, hopefully, naiintindihan kung paano natin kinukuha yung mga area. So, sana hindi ka mag-struggle sa pagkuha ng area. So, that's it. That's just how you get the area. And you're done, basically, para sa part ng pagkuha ng area. So, whatever, or regardless the problem, pwede mo hanapin muna kung anong area ang tinutukoy doon. So, most often, yung cross-section, kapag normal, but not necessarily, okay? Sa shear, yes, it's still the cross-section, okay? Most of the time. So, dito, binanggit naman na dun ka sa section magkakat. Alright? So, you have these two areas. Next natin, what we can do is to solve for the forces. Kasi nga ang formula for the shear stress is the shear force over the area. So, kung AA yung kino-consider mo, ito yun, di ba? AA, this one, this is AA. Anong force ang magiging shear dyan? Right? There are two possible, di ba? Yung paganto or yung pa-horizontal din. Now, feeling ko naman alam mo na to. Right? The horizontal one, that's the shear. Okay? Ito yung shear. And based on this figure dito sa una, we can say na yung shear dapat, ang kanyang direction is pag ganon. Right? So, dito na papasok yung free body diagram. So, nagkataon sa example kasi, pinakita dito ang magiging free body diagram. But, in case lang, okay, na hindi, halimbawa wala to. Pag tiningnan mo naman to, just observe. Yung load na to, yung 6 kN na to, di pinasok mo dun sa loob, sino ang magre-resist nun? Right? Yung taas? Yes? And, wag mo kalimutan, meron pa ding nakalak dun sa baba. So, there are two parts. So, sa part na to, wala pa tayong kakailam dun sa area. Just focus on the forces. How do you think the force will be distributed? Kung sakali lang na itong 6 kN ay hindi nakalagay sa gitna. Right? Ito yung halimbawa, ito yung yan. Ito yung part, itong part na to. Ito yan. Nandito siya, halimbawa. Then, obviously, hindi po equal. Magsa-summation ka ng moment. Pero kapag nasa gitna po, or nasa centroid, or by default, kapag walang binanggit, by default, nasa centroid ang force, then we can safely assume na yung force is distributed equally along these supports or reactions. Okay? So, meaning, kung dalawa pala yan, you can arrive with this free body diagram. Ito na. Okay? So, by observation, siguro naman hindi ko natin kailangan pang i-expand. If this is 6, itong dalawang to kasi equal, then malamang sila ay tag 3 kN. Okay? That's just understood. Kasi mayroon dalawang force na nagre-resist doon. So, that's 6 as well, yung 3 plus 3. Now, 3 kN will push this one. Pag ganun. Okay, sila yung resistance. And at the same time, by Newton's law, alam natin that although ang ginagawa nitong part na to is patulok pa kabila, ang ginagawa niya naman papunta dito sa part na to, ito. Yung ina-exert niyang force is not pahila. Okay, at this point, ang tulak niya naman pa left. So hopefully na-imagine nyo. If we are considering this whole itong buong block na to ng wood, we are sure that these two forces, itong nasa figure na to, papunta kaliwa. Pero the moment na pumunta ka dito, or ito na yung kinonsider mo, yung connection ng dalawa, dito, sa part na to, we are sure na papunta siyang right. Okay? That's just the Newton's law. Action-reaction works out. So, sana maintindihan natin. So,
Although, in direction naman ay hindi super big deal dito sa problem na to. But I just want you to understand yung concept ng directions ng forces. That would definitely help you sa inyong mga susunod na habang buhay. But anyways, if it's 3 kilonewton papuntang left, kapag yan ay na-transfer mo na sa wood, that's a load transfer, okay? Then transfer mo dito sa part na to, that's also 3 kilonewton. So hopefully naiintindihan. 'Di ba nahati na siya? Pag binigay mo yan sa part na to, dito, kapag binigay mo yung load na yon, yung 3 kilonewton, that's 3 kilonewton still. And kapag yan ay ipinasa mo na dito sa wood na to, okay, ito yung unang wood, right? Siyempre, eventually, pupunta dito yung loads sa pangalawang wood na to. 3 kilonewton pa din. Sa taas, sa baba. And later on, yung dalawang to, di ba 6 yun? Siya naman yung pupunta dito. Okay? So, that's how the mechanics work sa particular figure na to. So, ang sense na nangyayari, ibig sabihin, ang V pala na gagamitin mo is, right, 3 kilonewton. 3 kilonewton para sa AA, and sa BB is also 3 kilonewton. Actually, this particular problem comes sort of like a double shear. Para siyang double shear, pero hindi naman, yung double shear kasi is term natin para lang ma-indicate natin na nahati yung load or yung area. But not necessarily kailangan mong sabihin lagi, okay, double shear to. It's just based on your analysis. Diba? Ito nga, hindi tayo nag-solve. Tinitingnan lang natin yung figure. You can do that, actually. So, by observation, ganun yung nangyayari. And actually, ganun talaga yung mangyayari kahit mag-summation ka pa ng forces. So, kailangan natin matutunan yung pagtingin ng mga figure. Anyways, we have the V, okay? Parehas na po yan. 3 kilonewton. Gawin na natin Newton. So, 3,000 Newton. Para ang final answer mo ay naka-Newton per square millimeters. Now, at this point, alam na to guys, finish na to. So, shear sa AA, 3,000 Newton over, yan ang sinasabi ko yung sa area, hindi mo kailangan buuin. Just write it down like this. Mm squared, then you'll have 3,000 over 100 times 150. So, 0.2 megapascals. Right? Megapascals. So, that's okay. That's your final answer. You can convert this into kilopascal. That's normal. That's okay. Next, punta naman tayo sa shear sa B, B. So, that's 3,000 over 125 times 150. So, that is around 0.16 megapascals, and that is your answer. So, the short recap here, kailangan mahanap mo muna yung area. Then, analyze na maigi kung paano natatransfer yung load. That's the important part. Okay? So, that's for example number 2. Let's proceed to the example number 3 and probably last for this topic. Okay? And now, onto the last problem for the shear stress topic. So we have this inclined member subjected by a compressive force of 600 pounds. Okay? Ang pinapahanap sa atin is the average compressive stress along the areas defined by AB. Nasaan yun? Ito. Okay, BC, this one. And DB. Ito. So, again, ito the area ng AB, BC, and DB. So, for this one, pwede ulit nating i-identify muna yung area. So, for AB and BC, ang pinapasolve sa atin ay compressive stress. Okay? For DB, that is shear stress. Right? So, let's solve again muna yung area. Let's identify the area. Para kay AB, area nung area defined by AB, nasaan po yun? Ito, ito. Yan, yan, yan. Pero syempre, rectangular yan, right? By observation, you can see that, you can observe na meron pa doon. Yan. Triangular. So, parang ganito. Yan. Nasaan si B? Ay, si A. Ito. Si B. Right? And ito yung tinutukoy niyang area. Ito, basically. Yung connection or yung area kung saan nakadikit yung AB dito sa wood na to. Okay? So, ano yung area na to? Given naman sa atin yung height, right? From A to B, 1 inch. So, we can say that this is 1 inch. And yung lapad naman, mula doon hanggang dito, is defined or given by this width 1.5. 1.5. So, ito yan. 1.5. So, alam mo na siguro yung area? Alam mo na, no? 1.5. So, that's 1.5 square inch. Okay? Punta tayo sa area defined by BC. BC. So, dito, alin yung area na yon? Ito po yan. Ito yung BC. So, obviously, yung tinutukoy dyan, or if not obvious, so, ang area yung tinutukoy dyan is yung area again, or area similar to AB, wherein siya ay nakakonect dun sa wood na to. Kung nasaan nakapataw yung load natin. So, ito yon. Ito na yun. Ito yung hindi lang natin makita sa likod. Yan. Okay? So, if we are to draw that area, it should look like this. So, yan. Ito si C. Ito si B. Yan. And meron pa siyempre nakatago. Ito yung nakatago. Yan. Okay? Ito yan. Ito yan. Yan. So, yan yung part kung saan nakakonect or yan yung part na nakakonect dito sa wood na to. So, most often, pag nagpapakuha sa atin ng mga stresses, the consideration there is either kung nasa loob yan or internal loading, hindi magkakat. Kapag ganito na nasa connection, observe kung saan nagko-connect yung dalawang member or element. So, kung saan ba yung part na nakakonect dun sa isa, malamang yun yung pinapakuhaan ng stress. Kasi dun mo naman may experience usually yung stress. Kumbaga. And bakit doon nang kinoconsider hindi pa pumagat? Well, in real life, ang kadalasang location kung saan nagfe-fail or nasisira ang isang bagay is sa connection. Kasi doon ka nagputol. Either nilagyan mo lang ng adhesive or whatnot. But the thing is, dahil nga hindi naturally nakakonect yung dalawang bagay, sa part na yun siya pinakamahina. That's why doon kadalasan yung critical din. Okay, anyways, the area here is 2. Okay, from B to C. And yung width is the same with kanina, that's 1.5. Okay, ito na, yan. Ito na, yan. So, the area is 2 times 1.5. That should be around 3. Okay, 3 square inch. 3 square inch. Okay? And lastly, area ng DB. So, area defined by BD or DB. Nasaan po yun? Ito. Okay, let's erase this one. So, ito yung tinutukoy na area doon. Nasaan si BD? Ito. Nasaan yung area? Ito. Yun. Okay? So, if we were to draw that part, ito na yan. Ito si BD. Yan. BD. Siyempre, sa loob, hindi lang nakikita directly sa figure. Ito yan. This one. So, yung lapad, or yung haba, is 3 inch based on the figure. Ito yan. From B to D, 3 inch. And 1.5 naman. Yung lapad. Okay, at this point, you'll have the area given by 3 times 1.5, right? That is 4.5. So, okay na yung area mo. Yan. So, consider naman natin yung forces. Okay? Anong forces ba ang gusto mong mahanap? Eh di yung force na kung saan masasolve ko yung normal and yung shear. For AB and for BC, normal ang pinapakuha. Meaning, the force should be perpendicular sa area. So, for AB, ito, kung perpendicular yon dapat nakaganon. Diba? For BC, baba. And I hope obvious sa inyo kung saan makukuha yon. Ito ay naka 3D. Now, let's create a 2D free body diagram. So, side view tayo. Ito yung makikita natin. Okay? Let's do it like this. Yan. Aray mo. Bakit? Drawing naman. Diba? It's a struggle sa pag-drawing eh. Yan. Yan. Yun. Yan. Something like that. Diba? Nasaan si AB? Ito si A. Si B. Si C. Okay? Yan. Yan. Nasaan yung load na 600? That's compressive load. 600 pounds. Now, if we do a free body diagram here, ito yung mga exposed na forces. So, we have this load na 600 pounds in compression and mayroon tayong reaction. Specifically, magkakaroon tayo ng reaction doon sa contact surfaces. Bakit po sa contact surfaces? Kasi sila yung magre-resist ng force, right? Kapag nag-apply ka doon, sino ba ang pipigil dyan? Siyempre, kung saan siya nakakontakt, di doon sa area na BC and sa AB. Okay? And yung reaction, if you have forgot, recall natin that the reaction acts perpendicular to the surface. Okay? Reaction acts perpendicular. So if this is your surface ng AB, yung reaction yan, yes, perpendicular. If this is BC, the reaction should be, yes, always perpendicular. Walang walang exception. The reaction is always perpendicular to the surface. Surface nung kung ano yung nagre-react. So, yung tinutukoy natin dito is yung AB and yung BC. So, regardless kung ano yung shape nitong nakapatong, it happens lang na fit siya. But in case lang na hindi, you just have to look dun sa surface area or sa surface nung mismong pinagpapatungan. Doon tayo magpe-perpendicular. So, if we draw the free body diagram, we'll have this. Let's call this the shear or the normal force sa BC, right? Kasi yan yung mapupunta sa BC. Again, pataas siya dito sa free body diagram, pero pag nilipat mo siya sa BC, pababa na yung effect. Okay, that's Newton's law, action-reaction. And if it's going to the right, then papunta siyang left dun, yan. Okay, so this is the normal force at AB. Dito naman, magme-method of joints tayo. So, wala nang magic. Lagay natin ang angle ng 600 pounds. 4 vertical, 3 horizontal, 5 hotdog. So, you'll have summation ng forces horizontal. Ito, diretso na to. Wala naman po kasing, dalawa lang naman ang forces natin sa X and sa Y. 600, horizontal is 3/5. That's your normal force sa AB, and that is equivalent to 360. Tapos, diba? Summation tayo ng forces vertical. Pataas equal sa pababa. Right? And that should be NBC, or normal force BC, equivalent sa 600 times 4/5. And that is 600 times 480 pounds. And yes, ito na mismo ang gagamitin mo sa pagkuha ng stress sa AB and sa BC. Okay? Ano ba ang effect nila doon? 'Di ba axial, 'di ba perpendicular sa surface? So, axial yan, compressive yan kasi pa-compress, pasiksik kumbaga. And last naman na part, doon tayo sa BD, nasan po siya ito? Ito. So, if it is shear, like the problem mentioned, average shear stress, then the direction should be like this. Right? It has to be shear, di ba? So, dapat parallel sa surface. So, kung dito mo siya titingnan, dapat ganito yan. Right? Pero, kung iisipin mo nga naman, kapag nag-apply tayo ng 600 dito, ano yung ginagawa niya sa ating element? Di ba yung AB, tinutulak niya pa ganun? Yung BC, pababa. And ibig sabihin, kung ano yung tumutulak kay AB, yes, yun na din yung force na kumakaskas or kumikiskis dun sa BD. And yung tinutukoy natin yun, that force doon is the normal force sa AB. Normal force siya kay AB, pero pag pumunta na siya kay BD, it becomes shear. Okay? Hopefully, ma-wrap around yung sa head ninyo yung ibig sabihin nangyayari dito. The force AB, yan, syempre, itutulak niya itong part na to, itong buong cube, itong rectangular parallelepiped na yan. And as this particular force pushes yung block na to, yung DB kumikiskis. May shear, kumbaga, na nagre-resist. Yun na yung na-generate na shear stress. Okay? So, the force here is kung ano yung tumulak kay AB, yun na rin yung magkakaskas kay BD. It's all about the perspective. Okay? Kanina, yung force ng AB na normal sa AB is 360. Nakita mo, perpendicular siya sa AB. But by observation, siya ay parallel kay BC. Kay BC, yes, and kay BD. Diba? So, okay lang yun. Okay lang na maging normal siya kay AB, maging parallel siya kay BD. Ang titingnan mo, ano yung orientation, ano po ang orientation ng force with respect to the area na kino-consider natin. Okay? So, okay na tayo doon. Let's call the shear. The shear at BD equivalent to normal force at AB. And this is 360 pounds. So, pwede na to. Kunin na natin ang normal force sa AB. The force is 360 pounds. The area is 1.5, right? 1.5. That is equivalent or around 240. 240 pounds per square inch. Yes, yun na yung sagot. Box mo, of course. Next, shear naman sa BC. That's 480 pounds over the area ng BC. 3 inch. Right? 3 square inch. So, 480 divided by 3. That's 160 PSI. That's your answer. And lastly, the area ng BD. So, area BD. And area ng BD are the shear stress at BD rather. The shear stress at BD, that is 360, di ba nasagot na kanina? The shear at BD is 360 pounds over the area 4.5 square inch. So, 80 PSI. Sana nakikita nyo kung gaano kadali yung para siya solve. I hope this is clear. If you can see, this is the part where ina-solve natin yung problem mismo. And yeah, I-play na lang natin if there's as confusing. So this is the problems related to shear stress. For the next next topic, it will be the design or the allowable stress design. So sa part lang naman na to is we make use of the application of what we call factor of safety sa ating material. So design na to, may design na na-involve. Okay? Okay? So to continue, so ito yung topic or next topic natin. This is the allowable stress design. So dadaanan na natin to ng very quick. Ito ay similar na sa mga natutunan nyo, except that we are designing. Ano po ang pinagkaiba niya dun sa mga nauna? Usually, what we are being asked is the force, the stress. Pero when we are designing, ibig sabihin, wala pa tayo nung area. Kung yan ay bolt, wala pa tayo ng size ng bolt. Kung yan ay size ng member or ng steel, wala pa tayo ng size ng steel. So, usually, we are given the allowable stress, meaning, ito yung maximum stress na pwedeng ma-experience ng material. Okay, the force is already applied. Nandiyan na si force. So, using the formula stress is equal to force over area, if both the force and the stress is there, so ano pa yung mag-a-adjust? The area. Okay? And yun usually ang pinapahanap. So, si allowable stress design, actually dalawa yan. The load resistance factor design. Pero yun kasi ay later on na natin aaralin, probably kapag nasa steel design na kayo. Although pwede na siyang ilagay dito, but for now, let's focus to this one muna. The allowable stress design. Okay? This allowable stress design, ang concept nito, para yung isang material natin, ma-sure natin or ma-ensure na siya ay safe, dapat yung load na ina-apply natin doon sa material na yon is actually less kung ano talaga yung capacity niya. Kaya ano ibig sabihin nun? So, para maging safe, di ba obvious naman, kung ang capacity ng material or yung shape mo, yung element natin, sa totoong buhay, ang kaya niyang dalhin ay 20 kN. Dapat, yung i-a-apply mong load, less, di ba? Let's say 10 kN. Okay? So, sa design mo, dapat 20 kN yung i-design mo. So, nang nag-design ka, ang ginamit mong load para mag-design ay 20. Pero nung nasa actual na, 10 lang talaga yung nakalagay doon. Okay? Meaning, safe na safe ka. Diba? Tama naman, diba? Kasi ang layo, 20 yung dinesign mo. Halimbawa, yung bridge na yon, ang dinesign siya ng engineer na ang kayang dalhin ay 20 tons. Pero sa totoong buhay, yung dumadaan lang doon, mga tricycle, sabihin na natin may mabibigat, pero hanggang 10 tons lang. So, naglagay na siya ng factor of safety, not just para safe siya sa mga dadaan pa. So, in case na mag-overload, meron pang window. Hindi pa siya babagsak. Let's say, tumagal ang panahon. Normally, yung mga bridge na yan, magde-deteriorate yan. So, as it deteriorates, obvious naman, or let's say, yung force na kaya niyang dalhin, nung bago pa lang, we can be confident na kahit lumanda na siya, medyo lumuma na siya, mayroon pa rin tayong window na kaya niya pa rin naman dalhin. Kasi 20 yan, kahit mag-deteriorate, siguro bababa ng konti, kasi naging 18 na lang, or 18 tons, yung kayang dalhin ni bridge, kaya pa din. Okay? So, ang isa sa mga method na ginagamit natin para ma-apply natin yung concept ng allowable or increasing the allowable load is to use the factor of safety. Okay? Para magawa natin yung ganito, yung 20 dapat yung design natin, pero 10 lang yung capacity. at 10 lang yung actual. So we use this called factor of safety. So si factor of safety, siya yung ratio ng failure load sa allowable load. So ito yung load for failure. Okay, kung kailan siya mag-fail. And ito naman yung load na allowable natin. Okay? So, ang gagawin mo lang dito, usually, if ang hinahanap mo is yung failure load, di i-multiply mo yung allowable load. Okay? So, si failure load, ito yung dapat mas malaki. Okay? So, ang goal kasi natin, si factor of safety dapat greater than 1. So, kailan mangyayari na greater than 1 siya? Kapag mas malaki yung failure load. Meaning, let's say yung bridge na to, mag-fail siya sa 20. Okay? Pero yung allowable load, 10 lang. Meaning, 10 lang yung papadaan mo doon. So, yung nakalagay doon sa tatak, 10 lang. Pero yung mag-fail talaga siya pag 20 yung nakalagay. So, meron tayong factor of safety. Gusto natin yan. Ay, gusto natin yung factor of safety na yan. But, more on that later. Or, dyan muna yung i-gets natin. Okay, that's the factor of safety. Saan ba usually na-apply yan? Okay? So, pinaka-common yan na nagagamit sa mga connection or the simple connections. So, sa mga simple connections, such as sa mga bolts, dito sa figure na to, for example, you can see we have this connection here. Ang tawag dito ay lap connection. And yung joint, kung saan nagko-connect yung dalawa, di lap joint. See, as you can see, mayroong bolt dyan. And alam natin na may stress dyan. Okay, there's a shear stress there. And there's also a subtype of normal stress we call the bearing stress. So, daanan na rin natin kung ano si bearing stress para aware ka. Siya yung stress na na-experience itong part na to. Ayan. So, if you can imagine it this way, di ba ito yung bolt natin? Okay, side view natin, side view. Yan. Hirap naman, side view. Now, kapag nag-apply tayo ng force dito, ito na lang, sa figure na to, as you can see. Merong shear. Nasaan po si shear? Ito, dito sa cross-section. Pero, hindi mo ba naisip, sir, meron din pong na-experience na stress itong gilid. Itong part na to. Okay? Itong part na to. Ito. So, hopefully, nagkaroon ka ng thought process. Sir, ito po, di ba, for sure naman, tumatama yan dun sa gilid-gilid nitong plate. So, dapat may na-experience siyang force. And kung may na-experience na force, na i-distribute mo sa area na to, di dapat may stress din doon. Yes, and ang tawag natin sa stress na yon ay bearing stress. Okay? Bearing stress. So, I am planning actually to put this in a separate topic, pero medyo kinukulang na tayo sa oras. Hindi pala medyo. We're actually behind. So, I would like to give a short, short lang, maikling definition lang. So, si bearing stress, of course, there's a textbook definition. So, we can say na itong stress na to, ito yung type ng stress attributed if or when two surfaces get in contact with each other. Two surfaces in contact with each other. Napansin mo yung ginawa natin kanina? Bearing stress yun. Okay, pakita ko ng example ha. Ito. Compressive stress yung tawag, but you can also call that a bearing stress. Ito. Yung compressive stress, that's also a bearing stress. Kasi yung surface nitong wood na to, it became in contact with the surface of BC. That's a bearing stress. Ito pa, ito na yung tinutukoy natin. Yung surface ng plate became in contact with the surface of the bolt. Itong part na to, That's also a bearing stress. Ito pa. Yung plate sa column, if you are not familiar with this, ito yung usually makikita mo sa mga steel structure. Commonly sa mga supports, sa pedestal. Itong ilalim, sa totoong buhay may bolts pa yan ha, hindi yan nakapatong lang. May mga bolts na nakalagay dyan. But yung ilalim niya, this the bottom of this pedestal, and kung saan man siya nakapatong, they are in contact with each other. We also call that as a bearing stress. Okay? So yung area dyan, syempre yung ilalim ng column, and yung P yan yung load, yung force. So hopefully, nagkaroon na kayo ng idea. But there's one specific thing dito sa mga bolts. Ang area dito is the diameter times thickness. Okay? Or simply the horizontal projection of the area. So you can research more about this, but believe me when I say na madali lang siyang i-gets. Because kapag nasa bolt, ito lang yung formula. The diameter of the bolt times the thickness. Ano pong thickness? Nung plate kung saan siya nakalagay. Wala naman po kasing thickness ang bolt. Diameter lang ang ginigiven dyan usually. So, kung ano yung nakadikit. So, kung may plate dito, so syempre ito yung thickness ng plate. So, basically, itong part lang na to ang nakakonect, right? Ito lang. Yan. So, yan lang yung area, basically. So, that's the bearing stress. The area is diameter times the thickness. So, sir, di ba naka-curve po? Di ba po, baka maisip mo, sir, naka-curve po yung surface. Kung ipa-flat natin yung surface na yun, di ba naka-curve? Di ba dapat po yung area mula dito hanggang dun? So, hindi po dapat diameter lang. Dapat nakaganon. Papahabain. Dapat circumference or yung kalahati. Pi d. Divide 2. And kalahati ng circumference dapat, sir. So, sasagutin ko na yung magiging advanced na tanong mo, bakit hindi yung diameter kung area pa lang tinutukoy. The reason for this one is because of the distribution of forces. So, imagine mo, naka-curve po siya. Curve, di ba? So, paano po matutulak? Paano mag-a-apply ang compressive stress? Di ba pa ganun? Sa gitna, nakatutok yan. Pero observe how it becomes sa gilid. Di ba obviously kung ano yung shape, ganun yung mangyayari. Magiging perpendicular siya doon. And consequently, dahil siya ay naka-inclined na, alam nyo ang nangyayari kapag inclined, right? Nagkakaroon ng horizontal and vertical components. Or simply put, yung compressive stress na dapat nakatayo lang, nababawasan. Right? Di ba? Nababawasan siya. Okay? Kung nababawasan pala siya, then it is not accurate to say na yung force is buo. Right? Hindi mo pa rin sabihin na buo yung pagkakadistribute ng load. Kasi nga, kita mo naman, lumiliit, nagkakaroon ng component. So, kung gusto mo maging accurate yung pagsasolve dito, gagamitan mo ng calculus. Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng application or change ng force. Okay? You have the differential force in this particular scenario. And mahirap yun. Not necessarily mahirap, but matagal. Hindi siya practical gawin. Therefore, instead of just using calculus para maging sakto, we approximate. That's why, kinonsider na natin yung average. Okay? So, maka-cancel out din kasi yan eventually. And so, may mababa dito, pero may mataas din naman, di ba? And mas marami, mas sumaba yung area, mas lumapad. So, kinonsider na siya na diameter na lang. Kumbaga, ito na lang. Alright, this one, ito na lang. So, this is the diameter. Okay? We consider this as a flat surface instead. Kaysa i-consider pa na naka-curve. Kasi nga kapag naka-curve, then mahirap na i-approximate. So, we use this width as D and consider yung stress as average. So, constant na lang siya. So, in-average na natin yung stress. That's why we use the width as the D. So, I hope that is clear. Mahirap na i-consider na siya ay curve dahil we have to use calculus because of the force na magdi-differ dahil magkakaroon ng mga horizontal and vertical components. So, I hope that is clear. So, sa area dito, thickness and the diameter only. Okay? So, back to the allowable stress design. Napalayo tayo dun. So, observe mo nangyari dyan. Area usually ang pinapahanap, right? I have mentioned. So, regardless kung shear or siya ay normal, the formula is na-tweak lang natin. So, instead of sigma or stress is equal to force over area, si area na yung ano. Okay? And yung allow, ayan, siya yung denominator. And just to remind you, this allowable, this is equivalent to F fail. No? Naka-force kasi ito eh. Kung let's say stress yan, ganun din naman po. So, the stress allow is equal to, yes, F or force to the failure over Fs. Okay? That's how it is. So, kapag binigay sa'yo kung ano yung force kung saan siya mag-fail, i-divide mo siya sa safety or factor of safety. Now, tandaan nyo yung part na to. In case lang na nahihirapan kang i-imagine kung kailan magde-divide, ito yung, kasi hindi laging divide. Okay? Minsan depende sa situation. So, kung nahihirapan ka mag-divide, ito yung lagi mong aalalahanin. Si factor of safety, most often, ang effect niyan sa area, papalakihin niya. Okay? Most often, when I say most often, 99.9% ng time, papalakihin niya yung area. Actually, parang 100% eh. Okay, I don't want to be so sure kasi malay mo may 1% pala. But most of the time, this factor of safety will make your area bigger. Bakit? Kasi gusto mo maging safe. So ano ba yung synonymous ng safe sa engineering? Safer means larger dimension. So yung beam mo na sobrang laki, mas safe, di ba? Column na mas malaki, mas safe. Bridge na mas malaki, safer. But, syempre, hindi natin ginagawa yun sa actual kasi nga, pera yung usapan sa actual. But sa engineering, synonymous na sa safe yung mas malaking area ng member. So, every time na nag-a-apply ka ng factor of safety, check mo yung effect niya sa, check mo sa effect niya sa dimension. Kapag lumiit lalo yung dimension mo, magtaka ka, baka mali ka ng ginawa. So, dapat palalakihin niya. Kasi nga, papunta ka sa safe side. Hindi mo sisirain yung design mo na madaling masira. Pahihirapan mo, titibayin mo, kumbaga. So, with that, okay, wala masyadong special. It's just that si area na yung hinahanap and you have to apply factor of safety. So, I just want to discuss this one kasi may possibility na magkaroon ng ganito sa prelims ninyo. Okay? Actually, hindi siya required ituro kasi kung natuto ka dun sa una, kaya mo na rin solve to. But I just want to give you an idea para hindi naman kayo magulat. So, it's for you at the end of the day. So, let's solve this one. So, meron pa actually kasunod na problem pero hindi na natin isa-solve yun. Kasi ang purpose nito is just to give you an idea kung ano yung nangyayari or possible na lumabas sa exam. You can find this on the book so you can study it on your own. Pero ito yung example natin. We have this control arm subjected to the loading shown. Determine the nearest 1/4 in the required diameter. So, napansin niyo ang kaibahan? Tayo na ang pinapahanap ng area or specifically nung diameter ng element of the steel pins at A and C if the allowable shear stress of the steel is 8 KSI. Okay? So, given sa atin yung allowable shear. And dahil allowable shear ang given, then hopefully understood na okay, shear lang ang i-check natin. If may given na allowable bearing or allowable compressive, then you definitely have to solve for those as well. Pero shear lang, so shear lang i-check natin, di ba? So, ano po yung pinapa-consider or ano yung pinapahanap? Area ng pin sa C, ito po yan. And yung area sa pin at A, dito yan. So, area ang pinapahanap, edi success, di ba? So, area is force, o dahil shear to, shear over the allowable shear. That's it. Right? So, if ever lang, ito ha, if ever lang, na kailangan natin ng tawag dito, safety factor or binigyan ng factor of safety, wag mong i-overthink. Think of it this way. So, kung babasa tayo sa formula, wala kasing bigay na factor of safety dito. So, gusto ko nang ituro sa inyo in case lumabas sa exam or sa quiz. Alam nyo ang gagawin. So, in case may factor of safety, sabi sa problem, factor of safety of 2. Ibig sabihin, kung 10 kN yung design mo, or 10 kN lang yung ipapalagay mo dun sa element, pero in actual, 20 talaga yung kaya niyang dalhin. So, over-design, kumbaga, over na sa design. Sobrang safe, basically. So, sabi doon, factor of safety is F fail over F allow. Yan. Okay? Saan siya mag-fail? So, it will fail. Sabihin na natin, mag-fail siya kapag ang in-apply mo na load is 20. Right? 20. Tapos, ang allow natin is 10. So, the factor of safety is 2. Right? So, 2. But, dito, kung sakali naman, ito yung kasakaling factor of safety ang pinapahanap. But here, isipin mo, kapag naglagay ako ng factor of safety na 2, ano dapat yung mangyari sa element? Lalaki. So, tingnan mo lang, lalaki ba siya kapag nag-divide ako ng 2 or nag-multiply ako ng 2 sa taas? Hopefully, obvious ang sagot. Multiply ka ng 2 dun sa taas. Okay, so hindi natin gagamitan ng formula. Gamitin natin ng logic. Okay, so yun naman ang purpose na factor of safety. Mas maging safe. So if we multiply the 2 at the numerator, syempre, ang effect nun ay synonymous or ano ba tawag nun sa yung variable na yun. Anyways, linear. Okay, kung tataas ng times 2 yung force, yung area mo, magmumultiply din into 2. Okay, that's just how factor of safety works. So, pataas. Okay? So, anyways, wala naman. Hayaan na natin, nakaganyan. So, binigyan ko lang kayo ng idea paano i-apply si factor of safety. Again, explore pa rin ng maraming problem para mas maging familiar how it is being used. Okay? Anyways, area ang hinahanap. Do we have the force? B? Oh, not yet. The allowable shear? Yes. Okay, we have the allowable shear 8 KSI. Yun. Yan. So, kailangan tuloy natin ng shear sa C and shear sa A. Alright? So, if that's the case, what do we need to do? Ano ba si C? Reaction and double shear. So, if we do a free body diagram, kapag naglagay tayo, so si A, pin. Right? Isang horizontal reaction doon. Or simply, dahil cable to or parang rod sa AB, yung direction ng reaction dapat parallel kay AB. Kasi doon nung naman dadaan yung force. So, hopefully, marami na kayo nakitang similar na figure dito. Yung ganito. Yan. Yes, pare-parehas yan. The force is horizontal. Yan. Or kung nasaan yung direction ng rod. And kay C, dahil yan ay pin, you will have a horizontal and vertical reaction. And that's it. Okay? Si A ay nasa single shear, si C ay nasa double shear, then the effect must be obvious. So, sa part na to kay C, yung load na makukuha mo dyan is paghahatian ng dalawa. Right? So, ibig sabihin, kapag may nakuha tayong 30 kN, ilan lang yung dadalhin talaga ni pin? Yes, 15 lang. Kasi, mahahati siya doon sa kabila, magkabilaan. Yun ang double shear. Yun ang double shear. Pero dun kay A, kung may makuha ka dyan na 30, lahat yun dadalhin ni pin sa A. Okay? So hopefully that is clear. So sa double shear, you have to divide the force sa 2. Or pwede mong i-multiply yung area sa 2. Same lang yung effect. Either multiply the area sa 2 or divide sa 2. Same lang yung effect ha. Sana nakikita niyo yung, halimbawa, nag-divide ka ng 2. Di ba same lang din yan as multiplying sa 2 sa A. Okay? So, ang goal natin is to find the force at A or the reaction at A, which is horizontal, and the reaction sa C, which is horizontal and vertical. But remember, kung mayroong horizontal and vertical dyan, kailangan mo yung resultant. Yan. Yung resultant. Okay, kasi ang dadalhin naman yan, hindi lang horizontal, hindi lang vertical. Both ng reaction. So, kunin mo yung resultant. That's always how it works kapag may pin, tapos shear ang pinag-uusapan. General to ha, lahat ng problem na makikita nyo, ganun ang gagawin. May nakita kang double shear, tapos nasa pin, baka ma-trap ka or magkamali ka, horizontal lang kunin mo or vertical lang. Check mo parehas. Tapos, kunin mo si resultant. Okay. Eh di isa-isahin natin. Kunin mo yung resultant sa shear sa C and shear sa A. First, by drawing a free body diagram. Ito na yun. Oops. Oops. Ito yung reaction kay A. Let's call this shear at A. Diretso na. Wala namang iba eh. Dito naman, let's call this CY muna and CX. Then, yung resultant ng dalawang to, siya na yung shear. Tapos, may naka-apply pong load, 3 inches from C. And 3 inches. And then, 5 kips dun sa, dito, sa dulo. Ayan, dito. 5. And the angle or slope is 3, 4, 5. Paborito yung 3, 4, 5. So, 3 inch, then 2 inches. Hindi to scale and drawing. Pasensya na. So, kung may free body diagram ka na, siguro naman, nakita mo, sir, parang out of place yung direction ni shear sa A. Dapat pakabila po. Kasi yung dalawang load, puro clockwise. Yes? So, baguhin mo na. Diba? Ganun lang kasimple eh. Baguhin mo na. Pakabila siya. Now, pwede mo nang kunin yung shear sa A by summation of moments sa C. Right? So, let's say counter is equal to clockwise moments. So, before we continue, lagay mo muna ang distance from C to A, which is 8. Right? 8 inch. So, you have shear sa A times 8. Okay? Sundan niyo yung free body diagram. And you have, ano ba ito? 3. 3 inch. Kips. Yan. So, 3 kips times 3 plus 5 kips. Okay, naka-incline. So, need natin yung kanyang vertical component. 3/5. And the distance is 5 as well. So, obviously, or kita nyo, pwedeng i-cancel yung 5. So, we have the shear at A as 3 times 3 plus 15 divided 8. Alright, so 3. 3 kips. So, this is your shear at A. So, actually, kapag may shear sa A ka na, pwede mo na makuha yung area required para sa pin at A. Okay, pero mamaya na, isang bagsakan na lang. And next, we can do summation of forces vertical para makuha yung CY. Summation forces of vertical, up is equal to down. CY equal. Puro pababa na yung natirang dalawa. 3 plus the vertical component of the 5 kilopounds. This is 6 kips. Okay? You can follow on your own sa pagsisolve. And last po, summation tayo ng forces horizontal. you have a Cx equivalent to, lagyan muna natin yung arrow. Pag ganon, is equal to, pag ganon. So you have Cx plus yung horizontal component ng 5 doon. So 5 over 4/5. So cancel yung 5, right? Is equal to 3. Yan, si VA is 3. So therefore, mali tayo ng assumption. So Cx must be, yes, ano kaya? So Cx ay negative 1, or mali tayo ng assume, so 1 keep papuntang kaliwa. Okay, hindi siya pakanin. Pagka natin. Now, we can change. Babago tayo. So, may Cx and Cy ka na. Automatic na po kung ano yung shear sa C, di ba? The resultant. The Cy squared plus Cx squared. Medyo binibilisan ko kasi nasadya ko talaga. So, square root of 6 squared plus 1 squared. That's 6.08 kilopounds. Ayan. Okay, that's it. Yan na yung mga shear. Sa mechanics part to ha. So, importante yung mechanics part. Diba? Sana ma-appreciate nyo kung bakit grabe yung highlight natin sa mechanics. So, intensive. So, parang 70% to 80% ng steps mechanics. Yung 20, yun lang yung strema. Anyways, let's go. Kunin natin yung area sa, punta muna tayo kay A. Single shear si A. Diba? So, area. Pero note natin, hindi po area ang pinapahanap kay A. Ano yung diameter ng pin. So, let's get the area ng pin, which is diameter ng circle, right? So, pi over 4 diameter squared. So, itong D ang gusto natin makuha. Yung D na yan, sa A. So, pwede mo yung i-substitute dun sa equation na to. So, yung A na to, ito yung area sa part A, sa pin A. That is pi over 4 diameter squared equals sa P, which is, ilan nga yun? Yun na yung shear sa A. Saan na ba? 3 kips. Okay, divide mo sa allowable stress, which is 8 KSI. Okay, 8 KSI. So, be mindful of the units. Naka kilopounds po yung shear. Ang stress ay naka kilopounds per square inch. So, therefore, ang unit na makukuha natin is naka-inch. Okay, naka-inch siya. So, 3 kilopounds and then over 8 kilopounds. So, we have to, pwede kayo mag-shift solve actually. So, the diameter na makukuha natin dito is 4 times 3 divided by 8 pi. So, 0.69 inch. Pero sabi sa problem, ang sabi, nearest 1/4. So, ano yung kasunod na 1/4 dito? Yes, yung 0.75 or 3/4. Baka 1/4 ang ilagay mo dun ha. Yung ibig sabihin yung 1/4 interval. 1/4 plus 1/4, 1/2 plus 1/4, 3/4. Okay, so 3/4 inch. So that's because sa market, usually yung mga available na bolt, mga yan din ang interval. So 1/4 inch na bolt. Pero sobrang liit na yung 1/4, 1/2. Yung common is yung 22, ano ba? Actually, yan pala, tama pala. 3/4 inch, yes. Mga ganito nga yung size. Sa mm kasi, medyo 22 mm, 36 mm. Pag inch, yan, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4. Anyway, this is your final answer for letter A. Okay? Yan na yan. For the diameter sa pin A. So, kapag nakuha mo na yung shear stress, which you can solve using mechanics, get the allowable. If there's a safety factor, make use of that safety factor. Make sure na yung effect ng safety factor, papalakihin yung size ng iyong area. So, that's how it is being solved. Note mo din kung ano yung area na i-consider. Minsan, baka double shear pala. Then you have to divide. So, dito, sa pangalawa, the
Area naman para sa BC, or sa C, rather, C. Ganun din, pi over 4 din, diameter square. Substitute, pi over 4, diameter square. Yung shear po sa C is 6.08. But, ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina. Yung 6 na yan, dahil double shear, siya ay paghahatian nitong dalawa. Yun. So, divide mo ngayon sa 2. Okay? Pwede dito. Divide by 2. Bago mo siya i-divide ulit sa allowable na 8 KSI. So, you'll find the diameter equivalent to, actually, baka malapit lang yung sagot yun sa dalawa. 9 times 4 divided by 8 pi. So, 0.696. Or approximate na ulit, ganun din. 3/4 inch. So, you have the answer. Okay? So, hopefully nasundan kung paano natin kinukuha yung area, yung diameter. Manipulate lang natin yung equation natin. Okay? So, hopefully you have learned something. And I hope this is clear to us, to everyone. If you have question, clarification, kapag nabibilisan, pagpasensyahan na natin. So, pwedeng 0.75 na lang natin yung video. Pero sana hindi mabilis. I'm trying to make it slow, but sometimes I'm just rushing things because I'm so busy. Yes, sir. Anyways, that's thank you so much, class. See you around.